Hello friends, and welcome back to the video. So this week we're going to take a bit of a break from the KTX project because the weather is less than ideal for painting, and I'm not going to elaborate too much on that. You guys will see that in the next video. With the KTX on the back burner for the moment, I decided it's a good time to get some stuff done on the KTM. Before the lockdown, I went through to AdventureMX and I got some parts for the KTM. I'm going to show you guys quickly what needs to be done on the KTM. As you guys can see, the first thing, my fork seals are completely shot. So we've got a new set of fork seals. We're going to replace that. We're going to go through all the suspension settings and revert that. Then I'm going to grease the neck bearing, and we are going to be sealing up the water pump cover here as well. That's a bit leaky, so we're going to drain the fluid, seal up the cover, put some new fluid in, and then we're also going to replace the rear tire. So let me show you what we got here. We've got a Mitas C18 single green, good tire. I've got some 5-weight fork oil, got some coolant over here, thread locker, EP2 wheel bearing grease, some mousse lube, and also I got these exhaust O-rings because mine are shot. And then we've got fork seals, fresh fork seals. Unfortunately, they did not have the kit with the fork seals and the dust covers, so I will unfortunately have to reuse the existing dust covers, but we will give them a good clean. With all that said and done, it is time to jump in. Okay, so now you guys can see what I see. First off, we need to get this hide guard off. So it's attached with 2 pipe clamps and then a couple of brackets in the bottom, and I'm a damn fool because I don't need to remove the pipe clamp because it's got a bracket on. So we can just remove the screw that runs into the bracket. Right. Alright, now I'm just going to spread it apart a little bit over the expansion chamber and just get it off. Sweet. Alright, we've got the header off, or expansion chamber, and we got the surfaces where the O-rings go nice and clean thanks to our wonderful wire wheel, our good friend. Well, after sanding down that KTX frame, it's more like worst enemy. So we're gonna pop the 2 new O-rings on, and it's pretty simple. Just get them on like that, and that's done. But before we throw this back on the bike, I am going to drain the fluid, pull off the water pump cover and seal that up. The reason for that is we just have a bit more ease of access here without the expansion chamber, so we will jump into that right now. Little spill bucket over here, and we're going to remove the cap just so air can cycle through the system, and then it's just one 10mm bolt for the drain plug. Oi. And there we go, drain away. Now I didn't get new copper washers, so I hope this copper washer will still be fine and we don't start leaking. Now it's just 4 8mm bolts to get the water pump cover off. Alrighty, so we've got the mating surfaces clean. We clean it with a variety of soft wire brushes and some Scotch-Brite. Also took out the existing seal in here, cleaned it off with Scotch-Brite, put it back with a thin, very thin layer of RTV. So it's nice and dry. I rinsed off all the debris. And now it's as simple as just popping it back on and just tightening it down. Just like that. Super simple. Now I'm not gonna fully tighten it yet. I've waited a while for the RTV to tack up so we can go ahead and tighten it. And most of these bolts for the engine casings or covers are usually about 8 Newton meters, so if you go just a bit tighter than hand tight, it should be more than enough. I'm not gonna put in any fluid because I want the RTV to dry up overnight. So tomorrow when we replace the fork seals, we will add the fluid back in. So one thing that I would always recommend doing every once in a while is just bolt check the bike or your bike, especially if it's a pre-2016. I believe from 2016 onwards they have a counterbalanced crank. So the pre-2016 300s, like my 2012, 2013, really vibrates excessively. So if something is not Loctited on, it'll vibrate loose over time. So go through your bike, check that everything's still tight, but don't over tighten everything. That's also another issue because you do not want to strip out the threads in your casing. So with that all done, it's time to throw on the expansion chamber and silencer. So you don't need to necessarily remove the silencer, but the expansion chamber and the silencer on my bike is just bent enough that it just makes it simpler to take off the silencer. And it's, out of all the jobs you can do on a bike, it's the thing I dislike the most, is just removing the exhaust system. So let's see if we can do some magic and get it on. Alright, so the exhaust is back on, but as I said before, what a pain in the ass. So I got everything on and the fitment was not right. It was just gonna leak again. So the header or expansion chamber and the silencer is actually bent, like the pipe of the silencer. So I had to take everything off, give it a couple of bends, fit it up, take it off again. So after all that struggle we got it on, and it's fitting like the best that it ever has. So now that that's done, I am going to throw the hard guard back on, and then it's time for the last task of the day, and that's getting that tire on that rear wheel.
I feel so out of line every time that you call my name. I want to make your move, but I'm scared to say it. It's taken a while to get this far, I'm caught in the way. It's taken a lot to get this close, we're one and the same. Chasing colors after dark in your heart, I believe in you the way you pull me in. Can't pretend we're a work of art. After dark in your heart, I believe in you the way you pull me in. Can't pretend I'll be chasing colors. I feel so beautiful when
Alright. So, in the last clip, you guys saw me get the tire on, and since then, a couple of days have passed because I ran into a pretty serious issue. So, what happened was, after I got the wheel on, the tire was touching the chain over here. So, these are aftermarket hubs, and whenever the previous owner or in the bike's lifetime had the hubs replaced, whoever laced the wheels did not do a very good job. So it was actually off to the left. The rim was off to the left by about 10 millimeters. So I took the bike to Mel at Rodregass Motorsport, and he managed to get the wheel back into spec for me. I was not sure what the issue was. That was the final thing that we checked. But we measured from the hub to the center of the axle, because we thought the axle blocks might have been out of alignment, or it's not always the best quality product, or we thought the swing arm might be bent. So we measured everything and came to the conclusion that it's the spokes. So what we did was we loosened the spokes, the inner and outer spokes on the left, and just tightened them up on the right again, and we got all the spokes torqued back to spec, and that pulled the wheel over. And he also gave me extra little bash guard for the right hand side, because mine was missing. It is for a Yamaha, but I cut it and modified it and got it to fit fairly decently. It'll do its job. I just need to get some stronger cable ties over here to pull it in a bit tighter, but nothing should interfere at this point. What we're going to do now is the final task for the KTM refresh, whatever maintenance, is the fork seals and to grease the neck bearings. Alrighty, so you guys saw me grease up the triple clamp or steering stem bearings again. I put it back together and tightened everything down. Nothing is torqued yet, We'll talk everything to spec once the forks are back in, the wheels back in, and everything is aligned properly. Then we'll talk about. So I already went through and rebuilt the first one, and after, well, not rebuilt, put in the new fork seals for the right hand fork. Reason for that is I just wanted to refresh my memory again on this assembly and assembly again. And after assembly I reverted all the clickers back to the standard settings in the KTM service manual. Reason for that is when I go out and ride, it's a good base to start from, and then I will start tuning my suspension from there to my liking. It's time to do the left side fork. Now there's obviously much better ways to do it, and it's much easier with the correct tools. For instance, you need a set of soft jaws and you need a proper fork seal driver. This is just one that I made out of a piece of PVC pipe. Shout out to Fred for suggesting this. I'm not gonna show you guys how to make it. You can just type it into YouTube and there's loads of videos that show you guys how to make the stuff. Wait, there we go. Pull out the damping rod. There we go. It seems a bit excessive and violent, but that's the way you do it. Stop pushing. And if I disassemble any component, I usually stack them in the order that they come out. So there's this little spacer, the old fork seal, the retaining clip, and then the old dust cover. Alright, now that we got everything clean, we can go ahead and start the reassembly process. Retaining clip, spacer, inner bushing, outer bushing. Done. Alright, now we are ready to press everything back into the outer fork tube. So before we do it, we need to get the section where the inner bushing goes on or seats in up to about 50 degrees. So I'm going to hit it with the heat gun. Got some heat in it. Pop in the fork, pop in the driver. And now it's on to the final steps. Put back the dampening rod. And then it's time to add fluid. This is 5-weight cork oil. We are going to go according to the factory service manual, and we're going to put in 625 mils. It's 200. $400. $600. You can work it a little bit just to get some air bled out. And now we can add the last 25 mils. That's it. Got the outer tube. And that's it. Fork seal replaced. Now we just got to go through and set the fork back to the standard settings and throw everything back in the bike. Because you guys saw the disassembly process, I am just going to do some magic and throw everything back together. Alright, that's it. The bike is thrown back together. So I got everything torqued down into spec, got the wheel back on, got the brake, and it's still feeling a bit soft, but still probably just some air stuck in the line. Yeah, so that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Yeah, next week coming up is another KTX video where we will probably paint the frame or finish painting the frame, and hopefully we get to throw the motor in the frame and the bearings in the swing arm and so on. Start the reassembly process. Okay, so if you guys enjoyed the video, hit the thumbs up button and remember to subscribe, and thanks for watching. Peace out.